You've heard the expression people change, but how exactly do people change? There's lots of different ways that a person can change, but the way I'm going to be discussing today is epigenetics. It's not exactly the kind of change the expression is referring to, but it's a kind of change nonetheless. Epigenetics is the study of changes in gene expression. No, not like that. Gene expression is how and whether or not a gene shows. I have an analogy to better explain this. Let's say you have some lights. You'll notice that some of them are on and some of them aren't. The light that is off represents a gene that is turned off or isn't being expressed. The lights that are on represent genes that are on and are being expressed. Changes in gene expression happen due to epigenetic processes. Going back to the light analogy, it would be as if I took one of the lights and turned it off. Now the gene is no longer being expressed. It also works in reverse. If I take a gene that is off and turn it back on, that is another epigenetic process. There are lots of different kinds of epigenetic processes, all of which are called histone modifications. Histones are proteins that make up chromatin. Chromatin encapsulates the DNA. By adding or removing histone proteins, the shape of the chromatin changes. If the chromatin around a particular gene is really tight, then that gene is turned off. But if the chromatin is really loose, then that gene is turned on. The most studied form of histone modification is DNA methylation. DNA methylation turns off a gene by adding a chemical compound containing CH3 to the DNA. The field of epigenetics is fairly new, and there's still a lot to learn. Epigenetic changes have been linked to diseases such as cancer and lupus. They've also been shown to affect changes in behavior and mental health, as well as physical characteristics. Knowing this, researchers can try to develop cures and treatments for diseases by reversing epigenetic changes associated with them. There's also evidence to suggest that some epigenetic changes can be passed down to future generations, meaning your choices now could affect your grandchildren. Epigenetic changes happen because of environmental factors such as diet and chemicals one is exposed to. The environment during a person's childhood is especially influential to epigenetic processes. Epigenetic processes happen all throughout a person's life, so I guess the phrase people change is true, at least regarding their gene expression.